Let me tell you about The Sky is Everywhere. But first, let's just get a little reminder right now. 1 week down, first week of the October Club is done. The Sky is Everywhere. Alright, this is the book that I read this week for week number 1 of the October Project. If I had to give this book a rating out of 5 stars, maybe 3. 3.5. Probably 3.5. Meet Lenny Walker, sisterless clarinet player, lasagna maker, Heathcliff obsessed, and hopelessly in love. Right off the bat, here are the character flaws that I did not like about Lenny Walker. Number 1, she is your stereotypical, idealistic novel girl. I'm saying this, by the way, that I mean that she's not popular and that she reads Wuthering Heights 32 times or whatever. She's obsessed with the idea of the perfect love, which, don't get me wrong, isn't a bad thing. It's just I feel like she kind of got into it too much and she was too different. I know that sounds really bad. I know that your character's supposed to be different. You don't want them to be generic. You don't want them to be a stock character. But with Lenny, it was just like she was rubbing it in your face a little bit, you know? Number 2! Lenny is a follower. She follows in her sister's footsteps, and now that her sister is gone, she's stuck and she has no idea what she's gonna do with the rest of her life because Bailey's gone and nobody can tell her what to do anymore. Oh, tears. Muffin. Number 3. Another thing I noticed about her is that it's a little bit more discreet, but she's quite selfish. Like, I'm saying this in the way that I mean her sisters just died, but she's not asking anyone else who lives in her house how they're doing with the situation. All she does is focus on how much her life sucks now that Bailey's gone. Oh, she's everywhere. Her memories are all over the house. Well, you know what? You're not the only one going through this, so how about showing a little compassion? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I am a really unsympathetic person, and I understand that she's just been through like this entire terrible, unexpected death of her family member, which, I mean, you know, it sucks. I'm a bigger fan of the character who can really come through that, and I know that this is part of the story. I know this is man versus self. I know this is her overcoming the loss of her sister, and you know what? Good on her. That's great. I just wish, you know, she didn't express it by being a slut. Adrift after her sister Bailey's sudden death, Lenny finds herself torn between quiet, seductive Toby, Bailey's boyfriend who shares her grief, and Joe, the new boy in town, who bursts with life and musical genius. Enter our conflict, aka characters 2 and 3, Toby and Joe. Toby is a lion boy. He rides horses, he has a way with animals, he's quiet, and he skateboards. He is also her sister's boyfriend. With Toby, Lenny feels like she can be herself, like she can just grieve and embrace the loss that was her sister, and the two of them understand each other and they share that grief with each other. And then character number 3, Joe. Joe is the new boy in town. He has moved from France and he's very French, but he's also very sexy and he plays the trumpet. That was weird. He's charming. He's got that stereotypical megawatt smile that just blows her eyes out of her face. He's hot and he's nice and he's into her, obviously, 'cause that always happens, of course. The gist of the book is Lennon is mourning, so she hooks up with Toby, right? Her sister's boyfriend, which obviously is disgusting and sick, but they make it seem like it's okay, and it is, in a way, being that Toby and Lennon share this grief and they kind of fall into each other to make themselves feel better, where obviously every single time Lennon is always like, I feel so guilty, Bailey would hate me, which she probably would. I don't know, Bailey, she's, you know, your sister, so if you think so, then I guess you're right, so why do you keep hooking up with this guy? Stop. And then there's Joe. With Joe, she feels like she can just forget Bailey and she feels like she can forget all this crap that's going on in her life. But then she's always comes back to that, you know, man versus self conflict. I can't forget her. Is it bad that I'm falling in love this quickly after my sister's death? No. It's not freaking bad. Stop saying that it's bad. It's not bad, okay? Oh my god. If I had a nickel for every time after Lennon hooked up with Joe or with Toby, while she was doing it, or after she was done, if I had a nickel for every time, I'd have like 40 nickels. Like, oh my god. I could buy like 10 bags of candy down at the dollar store. Oh my god. Stop hooking up with these guys. Make up your mind. Yeah, that was my main complaint. On the upside though, aside from these things, I did enjoy it. There's a little chunk in the middle where I was like, okay, please just decide which one of these ones you're gonna sleep with and stick to it, or just like go home and leave them alone to their lives. Lennon, come on. But you know, halfway through, I did really start shipping her with one of the characters, and like, oh well, I hope they do get together, because she is genuinely happy, and he actually seems like he's a really sweet guy, and you know, and obviously at one point she screws it up. She makes out with the other one in front of him. Dumbass, why? Why would you do that? Stupid. It's like the death of her sister has awakened, like, not to quote 50 Shades of Grey here, but her inner goddess. All she can think about is banging, and it's not, you know, she's got a problem. She needs therapy for more reasons than one. Overall, I give The Sky is Everywhere 3.5 out of 5 stars. Yes, I would recommend it. It's not 150% riveting, so it might not hold your attention. It was a bit of a push for me to get through it, but I'm done now. It's in the past. I'm ready to start my new book. Which finally brings me to the topic of the book that I'm going to be reading for week number 2, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I will see you again on October 14th. Okay, bye!